people of Sonoma County are committed to protecting forever the working farms and ranches, scenic hillsides, and natural areas that make our county a unique place to live. In 1990, county residents voted to create the Agricultural Preservation and Open Space District to preserve these lands. And that commitment was renewed just last year. With funds generated from a voter-approved quarter-cent sales tax, the Open Space District has permanently preserved almost 75,000 acres of Sonoma County open space and agricultural land so far. But most people don't live on farms, and many of us are unable to get out to the coast or go on hikes as often as we'd like. If the Open Space District wasn't there to prevent land from being altered or sold to developers, would we really notice a difference? For the next half hour, we are going to focus on 4 specific ways in which the Open Space District directly affects your quality of life. We'll start with one of the most important factors in the health of our community, both now and in the years to come, and that is keeping our local family farms in business.
A difficult problem now to figure out how do we make farms sustainable so they can continue on and on as farms.
You know, it's funny how things have changed over the years. You know, it used to be a lot of livestock and orchards, but I think one of the saddest things I've seen growing up in this area was, in my lifetime, a lot of the older outfits like the Comstocks and the Bazzinis, they made a living in the 50s and 60s. They were struggling, and 70s and 80s, a lot of those people went away.
When we were farming 30 years ago, we had little pieces of land available. None of those are available now.
But it's like everything, you have to kind of evolve with the times, or time just passes you by in agriculture.
It is getting less and less feasible for farmers who have smaller operations to acquire land and to be able to farm it and to actually make a living.
Most farmers have sold their farms to developers, and that was their retirement. They farm all their life, they sell it off, they build houses, and the farmers retire. It's not sustainable. We're losing land at an alarming rate throughout all of California. The cost of land in Sonoma County is prohibitive. There is no way you can actually purchase land and pay that price and make a profit off of farming. Either the cost has to triple to pay for that, or we need some sort of subsidy.
Now it might not be that important because there's a lot of food around still. But in the future of 50 years or even 30 years, things are going to be really different. It needs to be protected now so that 30, 50, 100 years down the road, there can still be food grown in this area.
One of the important aspects of the Small Farms Initiative is leasing out land that the district has bought with taxpayers' money to small farmers in the area, and enabling them to raise a number of different food crops or beautiful flower crops, keeping a farm stand as Wayne and his family does, and selling that to the community.
The conservation easement, very simply, is a permanent deed restriction on the property. It's the tool that we most often use to preserve properties for their agricultural value here in Sonoma County. And in this particular case, we purchased the conservation easement from the Crane family, and so the property will be permanently protected for agricultural use.
My family came to California in '49 for the gold rush. Spent a couple years up in the gold fields. That didn't work out so good, so when they were on their way back to San Francisco to head back to Missouri, they rode up into this end of the country and liked the lay of the land and the climate, and my daughter's like 6th generation on this outfit now.
I was really encouraging them to work with the district because I said, you know, look, I'm not going to sell this property. You know, we all want to keep it, so let's work with, you know, this fabulous program.
The biggest reason we chose to work with the district is they're a pretty good instrument to be able to raise some capital to make some improvements or do some other things without having to sell the real estate. You still own the land. You know, it takes a lot of capital to do things nowadays.
There's 17 acres of land here that we farm. We also have a farm stand where we sell the product directly off the farm. The Open Space District has really made this possible, feasible, leasing it to us at a price that's comparable to other commercial agriculture. We're not getting leased below the value of agricultural land. We're just getting a lease value based on other agriculture in this state. I think what Open Space is doing by helping farmers get started in Sonoma County, especially the young farmers which have a very difficult time, is definitely part of what the future is going to be of producing produce in Sonoma County or in the world. We need to have more local production, small-scale local farms, which Open Space is really helping with their project.
The difference between a Crane melon versus, any other melon that you're going to find in the grocery store is it's pretty much night and day. I mean, picked ripe daily, only in season September and October, versus what you're going to find at a chain grocery store that's coming from Latin America, Mexico. It's available all year round. It was picked 2 months ago. It's been sitting in cold storage. The Crane melon, it doesn't just grow anywhere. It was invented to be grown right here in this spot, and not just anywhere in Sonoma County, but really the terroir that we have on our property where it was developed is key to its success.
Well, I think when you have the legacy like my family does in agriculture, you really don't want to be the one that goes to Valhalla and has to tell the other ones you didn't make it, so it's a good feeling. It's nice to know that some things have some durability or some longevity.
If Open Space hadn't protected this piece of land, it very likely would have been a Walmart or something of that sort.
I know my parents are, they're really, they're proud of what they do. I'm proud of what I do, and so to be able to say, oh look, I make this, quality product, and I'm, proud of what I do, proud of what I sell. But then you can also say, well, I protected this piece of property, and that makes me really proud as well, because you think, well, not a lot of people can say that they've protected something like that for forever.
Now, let's focus on the future, on the time when we aren't around and the children of today are the decision makers of tomorrow. When most of us were kids, we played outside and had personal places in nature that we could go when we wanted to think or explore or just get away. Yet many of today's kids don't have this option. Who will care about tomorrow's environmental issues if the kids of today continue to be able to identify hundreds of corporate brands but know next to nothing about birds, plants, and animals and their local watershed? Our next segment focuses on ways in which the Sonoma County Agricultural Preservation and Open Space District, along with its nonprofit partner Land Paths, works to connect children with nature and the land.